This was projected as a huge weekend for so many reasons, including recruiting, a lot of important players in town. And what do you know, Mike, the Irish come out and play their best game of the year, taking down then number 4 Clemson 35-14.
Well, Darren, I want to just talk about, as we do most weeks, just about the announcers. Who cares
Yes.
about the football game?
Yeah.
Of course, Zach Collinsworth and Mason Garrett. I'm going to call them by the wrong names because they can't get JD Bertrand's name right. Calling him JT the whole game. I'm just kidding, but yeah, what a fantastic night.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Fantastic night. For all the reasons I was stunned by Notre Dame's loss to Stanford. It was just the complete opposite. I was stunned by Notre Dame's victory against Clemson. I just could not believe what I was witnessing on that football field in both games. And I think if you're an Irish fan, I think you'll take losing to Stanford if you beat Clemson. I at least compared to the other way around. That was an epic one, Darren, for sure.
Is it fair to say, based on all the things you heard about Harry Hiestand and what he does for offensive lines here, are you starting to buy into all the hype that you heard from Irish fans leading into this season?
Why the heck wouldn't you? I mean, it's Harry freaking Hiestand, Darren.
It's amazing, isn't he?
Yeah. Put that in your dumb question. I'm just teasing you, Darren.
I know. Well, there's many, many more to come. Let me tell you that. So that's why I put you in charge of the questions this week. So, folks, if you think the questions are bad, it's on Mike this time. But no, we got some good topics for you. And let's get down to business. It was a big recruiting weekend for the Fighting Irish. I mean, kind of the who's who of Notre Dame recruits were in town for the most part. What was your major takeaway from the weekend?
I'm going to start off with a maybe not so glamorous positive note. The amount of big-time Notre Dame targets that ended up on campus it didn't match up to maybe the USC game last year or the USC game in 2019, your big marquee opponent of the fall, in terms of just the amount of underclassmen targets. Typically in late October, Notre Dame has its senior class wrapped up. So you're not going to have many big targets in that class, but it's the junior class of just littered with all these targets. Notre Dame didn't have that. But so that's kind of, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. That was one takeaway. But for the players who were there, there was certainly quality. And the most important was Peyton Bowen, who's already committed to Notre Dame. He's a 5-star safety from Denton, Texas, Geyer High School, committed to the Irish January 1st, but has visited many schools since. Notre Dame's really battling to hang on to him. Darren, a report even came out today. He's visiting Texas this weekend. It's like, well, Texas, no one's even talking about for him. It's been since before he committed that anyone's even mentioned the Longhorns with Peyton Bowen. And now he's going to Texas this weekend with his younger brothers, the class of 2024 cornerback. And, I believe has an offer from the Longhorns. But yeah, so that saga keeps going on. But I will say, and I've reported this at balloongold.com. You can find more on the website, that Irish sources are feeling better about Notre Dame's chances to hold on to Bowen more than ever. So take that for what it's worth. You say that and you report that, and then the next day it comes out he's visiting Texas. So it's kind of like, all right, back to square one. Like, that's how I feel. But, again, he has a younger brother. It's Dallas to Austin's, I think, 3 hours. So it's not, some crazy visit they're taking. That's a big takeaway, that Notre Dame is, at this point, don't stress yourself out on what Oklahoma and A&M reporters are saying. Notre Dame should be considered the team to beat for Peyton Bowen. Again, Notre Dame sources are buzzing about the Irish's chances to hold on to him. So I think that's definitely a good thing. And then the two other there was many, I think it was like 14 or 15 2023 commits for Notre Dame were on campus. 5 of the 6 class of 2024 commits were on campus. And then these 2 main currently high school seniors who were on campus, both official visits. Kaleb Smith from Frisco, Texas, Reedy High School, decommitted from Texas Tech Friday so that he could take an official to Notre Dame. We've talked about this kind of official visit policy for Notre Dame, that if you're an Irish commit, and you take an official elsewhere, we don't see you as a committed player anymore. Well, then for Notre Dame to say, hey, Texas Tech commit Kaleb Smith, you come on an official there, it'd be kind of hypocritical, So for Smith to come up this weekend officially, he had to decommit. And he did on Friday, when he exactly told the Red Raider staff, I don't know, but he announced it Friday. And then, got on a plane and had a great weekend at Notre Dame. So Irish look really good here. And Notre Dame really searched for Khalil Barnes. He's listed as a corner. Notre Dame's recruiting him as a wide receiver. He could play as a corner too, and we've talked about him, in recent shows. And I saw him a couple weeks ago. Thought he's fantastic, both sides of the ball. I think Notre Dame made a really good move. Probably the leader in this recruitment at this point as well. Barnes being a 6'1", 185 player from the Athens, Georgia area, someone who has known Deion Colsey, a Notre Dame receiver from that same area for a long time. So really interesting. Notre Dame's got 3 receiver commitments. Do they end up taking 5? Do they get Barnes and Smith? Tayson Lyons is someone we've talked about a long time. Notre Dame went from the seemingly like the leader in that recruitment to not even in the picture. So kind of wild there. But Notre Dame with Bowen, Smith, Barnes, these 3 guys who the Irish really want in their 23 class seem to make a really strong impression on Darren. And right now, crazy enough to say, I'd project the Irish to sign all 3 on National Signing Day. Call me a homer, but that's what I'm feeling.
Well, you kind of stole my thunder toward the end there. I was going to ask, can they take both Smith and Barnes? Does that make sense? And it sure sounds like it does.
I mean, then you throw in Brandon Hillman, who we've talked about, an athlete from Virginia who could play a receiver or running back or DB. So Notre Dame's in the business of signing good players, athletes to bolster, the outside edges on both sides of the ball, and they think they're doing that with these guys. So we'll see.
And just a comment that might lead to a comment from you on Peyton Bowen, but I don't fall into the category of a diehard recruiting fan. I don't read every piece of information that's out there and bite my fingernails. Is this guy going to come? I enjoy following it through you and through your work. Let me say this. For those people that panic every second about Peyton Bowen going somewhere else, put yourself in his shoes for a second. You're that age. You got a chance to see the country, follow your brother around. You got a chance to watch Texas and TCU from the sideline. Why wouldn't you do that? If you have communicated with Notre Dame what you're doing and they're comfortable with it, I think everybody else should be comfortable with it. Let the kid have some fun. If I was as good as he was and I had a chance to see all these other games, Mike, and as long as I communicate with Notre Dame, I think it's a great opportunity for him.
Two schools of thought.
Okay.
There is the, well, why did you commit then crowd, which sure. But then I point to, I don't know if this is an edgy comment to make, like half of marriages end up in divorce. And that's a pretty big commitment. Don't talk to me about this is a game we're talking about. That's real marriage. So maybe that's an edgy comment. People are not going to like that. But hey, let's just point the fingers at ourselves on that. And then I will also say there is the Notre Dame fans who they're on edge about it because they know how important of a player he is. I mean, this is a 5-star game changing, program changing kind of player. So you're on edge because you just want him so bad and you love Notre Dame football so bad that you're feeling so passionate about it because you just want him so badly at Notre Dame. But yeah, don't come after the kid. That's the overarching theme here.